Hi everyone, this is Raina Carrillo with Purpose and Passion. I am so excited because I'm about educating, empowering, and teaching awareness. Today I have an inspiring Latina, beautiful woman in the building, Lux Media. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to interview successful women. Hey Lucee, thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Oh my God, today is an amazing day, definitely amazing day. And I want you to share with the viewers how, let's go back to the beginning, bring them back to memory lane with, where your parents are from, where were you born, and how was your childhood?
So you want to get right into it, huh? So I am born and raised in LA. I grew up in Bell, California, which is a little city over by Maywood. Everybody always thinks Bell Gardens, but no, it's Bell. My parents met in Job Corps, and both of them were sent to Job Corps because, they were rough in the streets. My dad is from a gang out in LA.
Yes.
My mom also was from a gang in Fullerton, and they met there, fell in love. And I grew up in Bell with my parents that were just struggling and trying to make it and trying to come up. Childhood I had a good childhood. We had a great family. It's always that Mexican family where families come together and you barbecue and you always have them there. But there was a lot of stuff that I did see as well with my dad, who was still really involved in the gang life and in the streets. And my mom made a transition early on and became a Christian and really dug us deep into that so we wouldn't go that route. I think she knew, which is amazing. I give her so much credit because I think she could see further on than what was in front of her.
Yes.
So I was literally born in the church. That's all I ever knew. I knew who Jesus was before I knew who Mickey Mouse was.
Yes.
But I did see a lot of that street life. So I grew up very street smart.
Yes.
My dad was very real with me, always kept it 100. If I, got in trouble, it was always the code of the street. I got that type of lesson. So at a very young age, it was very real. I saw things. And my mom was like, nope, this isn't going to work. So at 10 years old, she sent me off to a church. And I ended up living at the pastor's house from the age of 10 to 18. Of course, I'd come back and forth.
Yes, of course.
But I traveled the country in a church group and performed all over the nation. And we would perform Christian rap music.
Yes, there's nothing wrong with that.
No, it was really exciting. But they would take secular music, change the words, and then we would go and perform it through all over the country. But then I would come home and I would still see what was in our home, what I grew up with. So I got to see two lives. I'm thankful. As I got older, I really was angry, I think, a lot of the times because I felt abandoned. I felt like, why didn't I get the family life? But in reality, like looking back now,
reflecting,
it was such a blessing because imagine if I would have grown up in the neighborhood and went to the schools in the neighborhood, who knows where I would be today.
Yes.
The fact that I was exposed to so much at such a young age and got to travel this beautiful country and see so many different people and the way that they lived and the different lives, it exposed me to more than what was in my home because my dad migrated here from Mexico when he was 7. He worked in the fields and my parents only knew how to work and live paycheck to paycheck. And I believe if my mom didn't do what she did for me and my sister, that's how I would have been raised. I wouldn't be who I am today. So I'm very thankful for that. So I had an exciting childhood. As I said, I got to see the best of both worlds. There was some real purity and some, wholesome family. And then you come here and I got to see a lot of
the reality of life.
Exactly. Where my dad has his homeboys over and there's a boxing court in the backyard and he's making me fight his daughters. Like those were the lessons I was getting. You get in there and you put the gloves on and you fight.
Yes.
Or my dad fighting with us and
oh my God. But you know
crazy.
what? That's the one thing that I connected with you. Just knowing like your background and my background with my parents are very similar.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
And I'm laughing because as your dad is picking up the gloves for you guys to fight, my dad had me breakdancing against people and they were betting on us. And I would always win.
That is funny. They're always like, here, let's go, Mija. Let me show you how to do it. Let me show you.
Yes.
I
And
get that.
so it's pretty much like I always tell people, it's kids having kids. You know what I mean? They're young, they're young, they're youthful, and they're, growing with us.
Yes.
And, and when you were saying you got to travel with the church, family, I think about the Victory Outreach when they started and how it impacted in the plays that impacted and saved so many lives that, it's like I was born Catholic, so it was more of a religion, right? Like, you got to go to church or you going to hell kind of thing, right? And then years later, when I became a Christian, I learned it was just building a relationship with God. And you remove the religion and build the relationship.
Right.
And so that's when I started to kind of like get more closer to God, And when
because that's really all it is a one-on-one relationship.
Yeah, it is. It's a relationship.
Yeah.
And when I, see how you share your story, it feels good to know that I'm not the only person alone.
I'm sure there's so many. Because, you think about it, I'm first generation American,
and I'm
Mexican American.
First generation Mexican American with my father.
Same here.
Yes,
so with my
yes,
dad.
yes.
But you don't realize when we grow up, for me, it was like, I went to school in Orange County because I lived with the pastor at the church in Anaheim. So it's a lot of Caucasian kids out there.
Yes,
and I'm like,
oh,
I have blue eyes. I'm light skinned.
Yes.
I didn't want to be Mexican.
Yes,
because I didn't want to be
judged.
No. And so I didn't learn the language. I didn't want to speak the language. And my dad, it really did hurt him. And I understand that.
Yes.
But being at that age and being so, you're so, you're just, you form to your environment.
Yes.
And so being that, I realized like Mexican Americans, it's really different. At least I think in my generation, it could go one or two ways.
Because I don't speak Spanish.
That's the thing. You're either going to go all the way in or you're going to go this way and not be a part of it because you're American.
Yes.
But there's regrets as an adult now. I wish I spoke Spanish. I have two girls and I wish I could teach them the language, and I love my culture and there's so much I embrace about it. But being a young kid and traveling and seeing all these things, I just didn't give it the respect that it deserved at the time. And so I admire all you Mexican Americans who speak English and Spanish.
Bilingual is very important because as I go canvas knocking on doors and I have the Latino people that do not speak English at all, I am slaughtering the Spanish. Yeah. But they understand, and I go like this with my, I always go like this so they'll understand. Like I'm very passionate. I'm trying my best,
Yeah.
And they're really, they embrace it because years ago they didn't. They would call me a pocha.
I've heard that.
Yeah, pocha is like you got a nopale on your head and you swear you're not Mexican kind of thing. Yeah. And I'm like, no, my dad didn't teach me Spanish. That's why. Not because I didn't want to learn. Yeah. And then when I try to speak Spanish, then they would laugh at me. So then I had that barrier of, okay, well, I'm in America. I don't have to speak Spanish here.
Right.
So I'm not speaking Spanish no more.
Exactly.
But I can understand what they're saying, but I can't speak out.
Right.
So I'm like, somebody hypnotized me to remove it or whatever so I could start going, la, 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 la.
Because I'm sure at some point in your life when you were younger, you probably were. Just like I know for me, I was speaking Spanish as a little girl with my grandparents. But again, my dad grew up in gangs. He was a homeboy. There was no speaking Spanish. It was like, orale. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. What up,
that Chicano movement. Yes.
Exactly.
My gosh. Yes. So now that you shared, you were balancing real life, with your parents and then the church family. When you got to high school, how was high school? What did you dream to become?
So that's the thing. I didn't go to a real high school. I mean, I did. I went to Catella High for about a year and then I was gone, but I was rarely there because I was traveling. So because I was always traveling with this church, and when I say we were on a tour bus, and literally it was a tour bus.
Wow.
We were traveling for 2 weeks at a time, and we would stop from state to state. I got to do the Sturgis run, and if any bikers are out there, you know what Sturgis is. I got to do that at 12 years old, and got to ride on the back of Harleys and ride from Anaheim all the way to South Dakota and stopping at state to state. So I got to experience life in a whole different way. So high school, there was not really a high school. I had a teacher that traveled with us, and we did school on a bus.
Oh my God.
But I always wanted to be an actress. I loved Lucille Ball.
Oh, yes.
She was and is everything to me.
Yes.
So I wanted to be an actress. And so the times that before I went to the church, my parents, when my dad was working, he got me in, or my mom got me in these acting classes. I did a showcase, I got an agent, and I did my first commercial at 10. And that has always been my passion. So my dream was always to be an actress.
Yes.
And then being raised in the church, there's a lot of girls who get married very young,
yes,
at 18, 17. So I thought, if I'm not gonna be an actress, I'll be a housewife and I'll have kids.
Yes.
That was it for me. There was no in between, there was nothing else. So when life didn't quite pan out as the actress, even though I was doing work and I was doing things, I had kids out of marriage, out of wedlock. Because again, even though I'm seeing this, I still have the reality of home. I still go home every once in a while, and I'm still living these two worlds. So I ended up having kids young, and I had to figure it out.
Yes.
And being the person that I was, and being able to travel and be in front of all of these people, there was times we were in front of thousands, and I'm talking like tens of 20,000 people, and we're performing. So in my mind, I always thought this was enough. I'm a star.
Yes.
And so
performing, meaning were you singing? Were you dancing?
Yeah.
So you were like kind of like a
backup dancer.
Oh, a backup dancer.
Yeah.
Okay.
We were called the posse.
Okay, so we don't have to go out tonight.
No. No. It was all choreographed. And you know, funny enough, I don't dance.
Oh my God.
Like if people are out, like we go to salsa nights sometime. No, I'm not a dancer. It's like if it's
You're
not
a performer.
I'm a performer. I will not get out there and just dance. I don't. It's the weirdest thing, and I don't even like to. Those days are gone. I tell everybody, gangsters don't dance. We boogie. So I don't. I chill. I'm a people watcher.
Yes.
I just like to chill.
Yes.
So yeah, high school was not your normal. I did not grow up having the everyday
prom and all of that.
No, I didn't get any of that. I didn't live that type of life, which is good. And then again, there's regrets, and there's times where I'm like, oh, I didn't get any of that. But I wouldn't be where I am, and I wouldn't be who I am if that life wasn't paved for me.
So when you became a young mom, life changed, obviously.
Of course.
When you become a mom, things change. So from being a mother to being a businesswoman with helping people with LLC, what happened in between there?
So when I left the church, I was 18, and I moved back to my parents' house. And me and my dad, we just bump heads. You know, he's a ram, I'm a bull. We just head to head. Love him to death, but living with him was tough, especially when I didn't grow up in the house all the time. So I left and moved out when I was 18. I left the church at 18, went back home and realized this isn't going to work. So I got a job at a gym at Bally Total Fitness.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah. That's where all the hot girls were at and the hot guys. Bally. I remember those days.
So I sold memberships. I was in sales. And I realized that I have a way with talking to people because nobody intimidates me.
Yes.
I mean, if I can be on the street with, you know, people that are homeless and talk to you and give you food and share with you. And I lived in these homes at the church with women that are coming off of drugs and missing teeth and, you know, struggling and getting their lives together. But never once did I see them different as you're God's child.
Yes.
God loves you. I love you. Aww. So that was such a blessing for me to be able to learn that as a young age, that we are all God's children.
Yes,
we are all the same. And no matter what somebody looks like, you can judge them. You can say what you want. But at the end of the day, you don't know what that person's been through. You don't know what that person carries, and you don't know what type of light or person you can be to somebody. So I've never been one to sit there and judge a person or anything, or even be scared of them, because we all put our pants on one leg at a time.
Yes.
God created us all equal. We're all given the same 24 hours. It's what you choose to do with it, right?
Yes.
So I got a job. I walked in there and I sold him a pencil, the GM, and he hired me on the spot. And I was like, all right, this is easy. I could do this. You know, I just talk to people. So I started working, and then I got into, I realized the gym life was just like, oh, I can't do this forever. What am I
Yes.
going to do? And again, wanting to be an actress to wanting to be a stay-at-home mom, not having any prospects. I'm like, I got to figure out what I'm going to do with my life. So I started working at customer service for a bank called CalFed.
Remember Coffee?
Yes,
Yeah.
long time ago. And then they got bought out. So that closed down, and I had to go to IndyMac Bank.
Yes.
And this was in this was like in 2002.
Indy Mac is INDY Mac, right?
Yes.
I remember them
and they
too.
got closed down in the
Wow.
crash of 2008.
Yes.
So in between this, I ended up getting pregnant at 22 years old. And of course I was devastated. I was like, what am I going to do? I'm just a baby. I don't have formal education. I didn't even graduate high school by that time because I had left the church. I didn't finish. And I didn't know what I was going to do. So I was working and I went into customer service and I decided I wanted to go back and get my diploma.
Wow.
So I went to Garfield Adult School.
Yes.
And I went to school at night while I had my daughter. And I got my diploma and I got to walk down the aisle because I wanted that for my dad. You know, I really
Yes.
wanted to complete it for myself, but for him as well.
Yes, that's how it was in high school. When
Yeah,
I got my bachelor's degree was for me. My A degree was for my mom too, and the high school was for my mom and dad. But that bachelor's, I walked feeling different. Like I bust my butt off to get this degree. Is for me.
For you,
You
yeah.
know?
It makes
So,
a difference.
Yeah, it sure does.
Yeah, because I didn't want to go the GED route and be like, no, I wanted to
Yes.
finish it. And I didn't know college. I didn't think college was going to be for me.
Yes.
Because again,
it wasn't for me, but I did it though.
but
It took 10 years to get a bachelor's. I'm
Wow.
like, damn.
But you did it. That's the thing. Yeah. So I didn't know what I was going to do, but I know I wanted to finish because I wanted to be able to, you know, at least have that
Yes.
and get something for my daughter.
Yes.
So I started working at the bank and I was working in customer service. And I saw these guys and girls, but mostly men back then. They were called business development managers.
Yes.
And they were come in the office every now and then, but most of the time they worked in the field. And they would go into different brokers' office and build relationships and bring accounts in. And I thought, that's where I need to be. I can't sit here in this office every day
Yes.
from 9 to 5. I've never done this my entire life. Like, this is killing me. So one day I walked into the VP's office and I said, listen, I'm a bird. I am a bird and you have me locked in a cage. And I said, I got to get out. You're really wasting my talent by having me sitting here. You need to give me a book of business and let me go. And he gave me a book of business right then and there on the spot.
Wow.
And again, here's the thinking. No fear. That's what it comes down to.
Yes.
No fear. Trusting and knowing who you are, being able to know you can do this. And I went and grabbed it. So he gave me a position as a BDM. And I started working in the field and I realized that relationship building is my strengths.
Yes.
I can talk to anybody, I can build a relationship, you know, and I really worked that. And I worked and I had a great time in the mortgage industry during subprime time and made amazing amounts of money. Bought my first house at the age of 27 when I had my second daughter and was living great. And then the crash happened.
I know. I was affected by it too. I thought I was balling.
Yes.
And then
In 2008.
short sales, foreclosures,
Yes.
IRS,
All of
10
it.
years on my credit. Oh my gosh.
All of those investments, everything.
Ooh, yes.
So in 2008, the crash happened, and I was living in a house that I purchased about a year earlier.
Yes.
And it was upside down, about $150,000.
Mm-hmm.
So there was no way I was going to try to save it. I didn't have the mortgage industry anymore because it was gone. And I was
Yes.
sitting there with my two little girls. At this time, I was single.
Yes.
You know, me and my daughter's father, it didn't work out. So I'm living in this house that's foreclosing, a single mom, no job, no real, as far as education, no college degree, nothing. Trying to figure it out.
Did it hit your ego? Because it hit mine.
No, it didn't hit my ego.
Because, oh my gosh, my credit score, I went from a 795 to a 295 or 2 something.
Yes.
And my ego, like, because the ego is not like, oh, I'm the crap, you know, the shit, or, you know. But it's more like, I work so hard for this 795, and then like this, it's gone. And my ego just shattered of, this is where I was at and this is where I am at now.
Yeah.
It messed with me.
Yeah, you know what? Maybe a little bit it did. I think, yeah, your self-esteem definitely gets bruised and your worth and what am I going to do? And for me, it was what am I going to do? Because I worked my way into this position.
Yes.
And what am I going to fall back on? What do I know? It was a scary, scary time for sure. Very scary. So I have this mortgage and I have 2 little girls and I'm trying to figure out what next. Mm-hmm. So I went back to the drawing board and trying to find a job. And I started working in, a friend of mine actually was working for ADP at the time.
Yes.
And I was like, get me in there because I can do sales. I can do sales. It doesn't matter what it is. I just know I can go and do sales.
Yeah.
So I started working at ADP. And during that job, I met a man and he was a Chicano and he was from San Fernando. He was from the streets.
Yes.
And he got his life together and started a business where he was an accountant.
Oh, wow.
But he was doing corporations. And the thing that struck me was that when I saw him and I realized he's from the streets, like he was he dabbled in that life. Yeah, and he's doing accounting. Exactly. No, I'm like, how did he do that? How did he become that? So I started going to his office more, asking questions, and he started mentoring me and helping me and teaching me, and I was bringing business to him. But then I thought, I could do this myself.
Yes.
And I have to say, I didn't do it the right way. If I can do it again, at the time, I would have paid for his mentorship or did, but I feel in a way that I took it. He gave it to me, but it wasn't in a way because we no longer speak. He cut me off and I had to figure this stuff out on my own, right? Yes. But he taught me so much. And it taught me a lot as far as even in business. There's certain ways to do business.
Yes.
And there's integrity, there's lines not to cross, there's respect that you have to give. Because I've had people come to me and say, hey, can you teach my friend how to do this in this state so she can go do what you're doing? No. Like, do you know how long it's taken me to learn this business? And I'm nationwide. I do it everywhere. I have no problem consulting somebody, but to just give a piece of what I've learned and put so much work into, I don't think a lot of people understand what goes into that. And there's not you got to respect somebody's work. You got to respect somebody's drive and their work ethic and what they've accomplished. So he taught me. And I picked up a lot of that. And so at the time when I was working for ADP, I was still auditioning because in the back, I still wanted to be this actress, right? Yes. So I was doing a little bit of work here and there, a couple of commercials, and the job knew I was auditioning. So they let me go. And I was really hitting my quota. I was doing great, but the fact that I was doing both, it just didn't sit well with them. So I realized wow, at any moment, somebody can fire me.
Yeah,
they're going to let me go.
Yeah, they can replace you anytime. But that still kind of sucks because it's like you're meeting your quota. Right. And you're trying to follow your dreams. To me, I feel like that was some hater stuff.
But back then, I even got called into the office one time. And the lady, my boss at the time said, you're too sexy. I said, what the heck? I come in work clothes. I'm business casual. She goes, it's your hair, your makeup. I said, what do you want me wearing a ponytail every day? I don't know what I'm supposed to do with that. Yes. So there was some stuff there that I felt was a little bit off, but regardless, everything happens for a reason, right? Doors close, doors open, and you just got to know when to walk through them and when to not turn back. So the door closed on that. And I sat there once again, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? So I realized that I had a lot of relationships with realtors, brokers, and bankers from when I worked at the payroll company, when I worked at IndyMac. And I realized that business owners, y'all know how to do your trade, but you don't know how to run a business. No offense to any of them.
Yeah, but I like that.
But it's true. I say it all the time. A shoemaker starts a shoe business because they know how to make shoes, not because they know how to run the business. Yes. You don't know what goes into starting a business. Yes. Why do you have to keep the business in compliance? What do you need when starting the business? Wow. What not to do when you're starting a business? That is a lot of stuff that is not really taught in classes. There's not a book on it, really. So I learned by this man who taught me. And then I did a lot of research and a lot of trial and error. Yes. And I built my business in 2011. And I've been going strong ever since.
I love when you post those. It looks like a library, whatever book or something.
Oh, those are my corporate kits, corporate books.
Okay, the corporate books. When you share that with the LLCs on it, it's so inspiring. You know what I mean? Because you're helping people create their dream.
Yeah.
And without you, they wouldn't know how to do it. And if they didn't have you, it would be a hard process to go through with trial and error.
Right.
And who wants to go through trial and error? Nobody.
Right.
You know what I mean? You just want to just give it to somebody, pay them for their service, educate you, and then, like you said, compliance, like keep it going, keep it going, keep it going. So, so from there, like that's how you started your business to help people create LLCs?
Yes. So I started by referring people to this guy at first. And I realized like, wow, I really like relationship.
Yeah.
Let me tell you a little tidbit. B2B is always better than B2C. And what that means is business to business is better than business to consumer. I can go to you and say, hey, let me help you. You don't know me. You're not going to trust me. But if I go to your accountant or your banker and say, hey, I can help your clients. Then when you go to your banker, your accountant and say, I don't know what to do. I'm in this situation. And they refer you to me. You're not going to think twice about it. You're going to come to me because somebody you trust referred me to you. And it's not even a sell at that point. It's, I mean, I don't have to sell you at that point. It's a done deal. So I learned that very early on, and I made relationships. I'm just saying, you got to pick it up. You know, that's that street smart. I was having a conversation on the way over here that you don't realize how some people lack common sense and street smart. And you, in order to make it, especially out here and in business, it's dog eat dog. So if you're not street smart, sharp on it, you will get lost in the shuffle. And it's hard because sometimes you got to find that balance of keeping your integrity and being a great businesswoman and not falling into what the sharks are out there doing. Because you don't want to screw anybody over. And just like you said, you don't know how many conversations and how many phone calls I get from people that are calling me and just like, you don't understand. I don't know where to start. And oh my gosh, you helped me so much. Or when I send their corporate book to them and they get it in the mail and they open it and they're like, wow, this is so beautiful. I feel so official. I can't believe this is a real business and I'm doing this. Anybody can do it. You can start a business. If you really have a desire and a love for something and you want it to become a business, you can make that happen. But you get intimidated because you don't know how you don't know where to go. Exactly. And you don't realize some of those side hustles are costing you so much more in taxes than if you were to have it as a legitimate business. Just saying. So a lot of these things are not taught. They're not shared. You know, CPAs, accountants, they're great. I love them. But a lot of them don't even stop and break down the process and do the setups for their clients. They'll refer them to like a LegalZoom or something like that, which is great. But you don't get that one-on-one. And with me, my clients get that one-on-one with me. I break it down. Now, by no means, I'm not an accountant. I'm not an attorney. I have been doing this for 11 years. I have I'm at like 600 clients right now. And I keep them all in compliance every year whenever they have another business, because once you become an entrepreneur, there's more ideas and you get better, like you get people that want to do business with you. So I have a lot of repeat clients. I have a lot of people that come just for advice, that just want to know what would be the best option. And I give it to them. But by no way do I presume to know it all, but I do know what would be best if you're starting a business, what's the best structure, what I believe the best fit would be for you, and then I do all the work on getting it set up.
Wow. Well, I'm going to tell you something. I'm very inspired to the point where, you know, next year, you know, I'm hoping in the month of January, you're available, because I would love to use City Club to do, you know, a workshop. But of course you're doing the workshop so then people can come see you. And then if they see the bigger picture, then they become your client. And I think it's important because people really don't work with people they don't know. Right. But when you have somebody that knows, like you said, that knows, like Raina's referring me to her, you know, it's like, okay, well, she's in good standing. So I think it would be great if we can collaborate.
Yeah, I would
and
love
do
that.
something like woman empowerment with LLCs and things
Mm-hmm.
of that nature. You share your testimony, and then you tell them your story, and then you're able to help these individuals, you
Mm-hmm.
know?
Mm-hmm.
And when I always say women empowerment, I'm all about women empowerment, but men can come too,
Yes,
you know?
of
I
course.
always say men can
'Cause
always
men have
come.
ideas and businesses
yes,
as well.
Yes. So it's not catered just to women, but
Yes.
I call it women empowerment because sometimes, you know, like you said, in the industry of the banking, back in those days, it was male dominant.
Yeah. Even in real
Mortgages,
estate.
yeah, mortgages and everything.
Yeah.
And it was like a light bulb that you said, like, oh, I have these clients. Well, I help families save and make money through life insurances, right? And every business should have a term insurance or a permanent insurance, right? And so I was thinking, like, oh my God, well, maybe I can give you some flyers to where you can mail them out to your clients, and then I break bread with you because that's what you're supposed to do, right? You know what I mean? And that's building a legacy, because when you have a business and if you have life insurance, if something were to happen, like, you know, they call it the key.
Right.
So if somebody passes away, the family will reap the benefits of even saving the legacy, which is the business. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And not have to suffer.
Right.
Because I've known a lot of people that have businesses and they didn't have life insurance, or life insurance on you know, the executives and people of that nature, or those key people that that work for you.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, wow, you know. So I believe we can collaborate and educate people, especially people of color, because I even helped out somebody that did real estate, and then she added me on to her event to help educate, you know, the families and individuals on the importance of life insurance and how you can use it, how you can have your IUL, which is an index universal life insurance, and pull money tax-free from the cash value without going to the bank and getting a loan and paying those high percentages.
The interest,
you know? Yes.
taxes.
Man. And so besides, you know, the community leader, gang interventionist, I promoted, you know, to educate and empower my community, because when I was doing gang intervention, people will come to me for to help them bury their child. You know, because gang intervention is, you know, their children are dying in the streets of gang culture, and it was hard for me because I was so overwhelmed with so many deaths coming, and me stressing on the parents, like, okay, I only can do what I can. So let's do a car wash. Let's do a pozole thing. Let's do, you know, food plates to sell, to bury. And then, you know, one day God blessed me to meet a multimillionaire Mexican-American. I mean, Mexican, not Mexican-American. He's Mexican. He's from Zacatecas. And so when I sat down with him, I was blown away that, you know, he's an immigrant, and now he's a multimillionaire in his story. And so he says, you might not like this, but you can refer people, you know. And so one day, and this is a powerful story, and this is the reason why I got into the life insurance industry, because one of the client's mom, she got a raise, a $2 raise.
Okay.
And she lived in Pico Union, and they lived in a 1-bedroom apartment, but it was a lot of people in that apartment. Okay. And so her son just came out of camp, and she said for a family meeting, she wanted to know if I knew anything about life insurance. And I was like, no, but, you know, for a family meeting, I can invite somebody that can help you. They did that. And she got her life insurance on her son and herself. Term insurance, because that's all she could afford, right?
Yeah.
You know? And term insurance is affordable. It's affordable because it's temporarily, right? 30 years, you know, boom, that's it. So fast forward, I get a call on my racer, which is on a BlackBerry, and it's, you know, LAPD, you know, the mayor, and they're like, Latino male, 18 years old, shot. Come to this location. So that was the location I had to go to. And the law enforcement said, you know, Raina, do you know this young boy? And he pulled the cover, and it was him.
Her son.
Her son.
Wow.
And I'm not gonna lie, for the first time I cried, you know, because I'm just like, oh my God.
You knew him.
Yes.
You had just helped his mom.
And it didn't click of the life insurance because it was months, you know, and I wasn't in there. It was me and the son just hanging out, you know, eating peanut butter and jelly sandwich in the front yard, you know, while the apartment complex, while, you know, the life insurance agent was helping the mom
Yeah.
with this. So I don't know nothing, right? I just know they took
You
care.
referred them.
Yeah, took care of business, and that was it.
Yeah.
And so they said, well, since you know the mom, you should go to the house and let her know. And she didn't speak Spanish, but she understood English. I didn't speak, good Spanish, but I understand Spanish. And so she was up 3 a.m. drinking coffee, waiting for her son. So when I knocked on her door, she knew. And I just told her, I said, tu hijo es muerto. And then she says, like, ay Dios mío, you know what I mean? Like, oh my God. And, she said, pásale, I come in, and I sat in there, and we sat at the table trying our best to communicate. And I told her, okay, I'm going to follow up back with you. I have to be at a 9 a.m. Team meeting. So let me get home. This is all the information for the detectives, and I'm going to help you. I'm going to help you. So fast forward, the body gets released, everything. And then she calls me and she says, come to my house. She gets delivered a $250,000 check.
Wow.
I had no idea. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't have no idea. And I didn't understand the concept of life insurance until that day. And so she told me, I want to move out. Mind you, she went from a 1-bedroom sharing with everybody to purchasing a house cash in Moreno Valley back in the days, in the early 2000s. And she told me, my son is in prison. And she said, can you find a criminal lawyer? And the criminal lawyer told me, I need 20 grand. And he was a part of the Rampart scandal. He was in there
son?
Unlawful, right? The other older son.
Yeah.
And so she was able to take that 20,000 to pay the retainer for the lawyer to get her son out, right? To fight for him. And at the same time as she's burying her son, I experienced for the first time, I didn't have to do anything but help this mom, right? And she had the most beautifulest Catholic ceremony that I have ever witnessed. And we didn't have to fundraise or nothing.
Wow.
So she paid, it was 40 grand. At that time, she did it big. And she'd had a hall and everything for the repast. And after that, a few weeks passed, and she purchased her house in Moreno Valley. Her son came out of prison.
Wow.
And she started a taco restaurant.
Wow.
So that story inspired me to be a life insurance agent. You know what I mean?
Yeah, to help. You literally changed her life with that.
Man.
And trauma, there was tragedy in it.
Yes. And she got to mourn and not stress out of GoFundMe. Back then, it was no GoFundMe, but she didn't have to stress on
the car washes, the bake sales.
Yes. And
wow.
And like she told me in Spanish, this money cannot replace my child.
Of course.
But it can help me with what I have left. And that inspired me, you know? So I've been doing it for past 10 years.
Wow.
I'm like low key. People say, you're undercover life insurance. I just said, no, just low key.
I know I saw that somewhere. I'm like, wait, she's working with
And so people be like, Raina, you sell life insurance? I'm like, yeah, I do. They're like, why you not promoting them? I said, I never thought of it because I'm such a gang interventionist community leader.
Yeah.
They're like, well, you need to create an Instagram page. So I did. It's called Insurance Raina. So I finally done it after all these years, you know, just to educate people the importance of life insurance and leaving a legacy. And so with that to say, I love the fact that you're a woman, you're Latina, you know, and you went through your trials and tribulations and you never gave up, and you're successful in your own right. And that's the reason why I wanted to have you on Purpose and Passion. So I want you to share with the viewers, what is your passion and what is your purpose?
That's a good question. That's a very good question. And not to say that the difficulties, they're hard and we all face them, especially as a single mom. You know, I did a show recently and I had a mom reach out to me, a single mom, and ask for help if I knew anybody that can do something for her. And I realized there's so many of us out there, but there's also so much that you can do with just faith in yourself and faith that you are capable of overcoming everything that is in front of you. So I think my passion is helping people, first off, start these businesses and being able to start with nothing by just having a dream. I'm not doing the work. You guys are doing the work. but I am the beginning step when it comes to this dream, when it comes to this hope. So my passion is being able to help you guys get to the next level. Whether, and there's not just LLCs. Let me explain that. There's different types of businesses that you can start with. You have DBAs, LLCs, S Corps, C Corps. There's different levels and they all get broken down into different things. Of course, you're not going to know what that is. You can Google it all day and you'll be confused. So just call me. But my passion is being able to help the person that is wanting to better their life, better life for their family, their kids, who has a side hustle, who has a dream. I just want to help them.
Yes.
That's my passion. My purpose is to be able to be the woman that I know God created me to be.
That's right.
For my daughters to be able to see the woman that I am. I take so much pride in being a woman of excellence. What does that mean? I am by no means perfect. But every day I live my life to try to be a woman.
Yes.
Like that Proverbs 31 woman.
Yes.
And it's not easy. Believe me,
it's
I'm not always a nice person, you know? There's parts of me that sometimes judge, that sometimes are like, ugh.
Yes.
But I'm always brought back to the core
Yes.
of, you know,
Don't
my
judge a book
spirit.
by its
No,
cover.
don't judge a book by its cover.
Yes, yes.
So my purpose and my passion is just really to be the woman that I know I was created to be. For my daughters who are watching me,
Yes.
as a single mom still to this day, I have been able to give my daughters a life that I've never had and that I didn't even imagine being able to give them. And my passion is in helping somebody do it for theirs as well.
That's right. That is inspiring, girl. So what do you have in store for 2023?
So right now,
Because it's coming, girl.
I know, and I'm starting now.
Oh, no, 2022. I'm sorry.
No. It's about to be over.
Oh, yeah.
We're in 2022 and it's about to be over. We're in that last quarter. We're about to hit fall.
You are correct. Wait
Yes.
a minute. Yes, 2023. I was right the first time.
Yes. So in 2023, I am really taking my business to another level.
Yes.
You know, I'm really trying to get Nobility Consulting Services,
Yes.
to another level. And I'm really trying to brand it as the business consultant company that it is, brand myself as a consultant,
As
because
you
that's what I
should.
am.
Yes.
And for so long, I doubted that. For so long, I questioned it. We all have imposter syndrome. We all live with it on a daily basis. We all have the negative talk. You have to learn how to drown out the voices. And if you don't know how to drown it out, step over it and just walk through them until they fade. So that's my goal, is to really build out the business more. I'm going to be doing a lot more content for the company, sharing tidbits, because I've noticed, again, when I speak to people and they're calling me, there's so many questions. People don't know why I should have a business. Why should I incorporate? What's the difference? So, and anybody out there that has questions, feel free. You know, I love consulting. I don't charge for my consultations because it's a conversation.
That's a blessing.
And
It is a
again,
blessing,
you
though.
don't know. Nobody knows. It took a lot of work for me to understand how this all works, what the breakdown is. And I can tell you everything from what bank I think is the best to bank with as a small business.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, it makes a difference. You know, if you go to a bank as a brand new business, some of them will give you a credit card and a line of credit at that moment. Of course, there's stipulations, but some do and some don't. So payroll. Why do you need payroll? Who needs payroll? Should you be on payroll? If you're the owner, do you need workers' comp for yourself? There's so many things that go into running a business that a lot of business owners just don't know.
That is powerful. Well, how can our viewers find you on social media or the internet?
So it's very simple. I make it simple across all social media platforms. It's at Lucee Cesena, and I'll spell it out because it's very different. It's LuceeCesena, at Lucee Cesena. And I'm on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. I just went viral on TikTok, y'all.
Yay! And I still need to learn TikTok.
No, it was fun. I did a cool little hair video and it just took off. So you can find me on any of them. And I'm sharing little videos and tidbits about business, about what not to do, just little tips for the day.
Awesome.
So I'll be sharing a lot of that stuff coming soon.
That's inspiring.
Yeah.
I'm so proud of you,
Thank
Lucee.
you.
You're an amazing
I
woman.
love that I met you. I love that we crossed paths.
Thank
I love that I
you.
got to go to dinner with you that night and you
Yes.
shared your enlightenment with me.
Yes.
After this, I'm going to ask for some more.
Hey, never. Hey, you know what? Like they said, God says, you ask and you shall receive.
Yeah, like, what you got for me today, Raina?
Well, we're going to let you go because we have a lot of talking after this show. So this is Raina Carrillo signing out with Purpose and Passion at City Club. Thanks to Lux Media.
Glutathione is a big word. It's the body's own master antioxidant. It's a scavenger for free radicals, bacteria, and viruses. There are no products in the market with the ingredient NACET. NACET increases the production of glutathione that's in our body already to strengthen and enhance our immune system, elevate sense of well-being, support muscle strength and endurance, cognitive function, and liver support. It helps with increased energy and blood sugar regulation. Get your bottle of GSH Plus from www.salvationnutra.com.